Xin chào mừng tất cả anh chị đã đến tham dự buổi webinar ngày hôm nay của công ty John Hu. Thì với kinh nghiệm 15 năm trong ngành di trú thì John Hu hy vọng có thể đưa được những cái giải pháp di trú tốt nhất và hiệu quả nhất dành cho khách hàng của mình. Thì buổi webinar ngày hôm nay sẽ về chương trình định cư Úc, và anh Willie Hu, người đang có cái Mara của di trú Úc, sẽ có một cái cập nhật nhanh về cái quota của Úc trong năm tài khóa 2022, 2020, 2023, 2024, và sau đó sẽ trình bày về một cái chương trình định cư Úc mà nó sẽ mang đến cái thời gian và hiệu quả cho quý anh chị ạ. Okay, Willie, so it's on to you.
Okay, hello. Hi everyone. So my name is Willie. I'm a director at John Hu Migration Consulting. Okay, so today's webinar, we're going to talk about Australia skill mainly, and of course, the quota for next year, which is the Australia financial year is July 1st. So just less than 1 month now, right? So the next year is about to start. So the quota was announced at the start of May. So we're gonna, go through the quota allocation between the different visa classes, and then talk about skill migration and other visas as well for Australia, which of course I think there will be it'll be kind of relevant to the Vietnam market, like GTI, Global Talent Visa is also one visa which we have lots of experience on. And also, and there's also kind of study visa, vocational training visas that we think is definitely something that can suit many people in Vietnam, I think, so something we can explore for anyone who's interested as well. So today I will start with just introducing our company first. So after that, then we can go through the different Australia visas. Okay. I'll just share my screen. Wait 1 second. Okay, hopefully you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay, so John Hu Migration. We're a firm that is well established, for 14 years now, right? So 14 years of experience serving many Asian countries. Of course, we are originally based in Hong Kong. Of course, but nevertheless, we're established in Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh, serving the Vietnamese kind of clients for just for 1 or 2 years now in that sense, right? So really, I think there's lots of demand that we see for Australia and Canada migration. So very much so, we have all the product range and the visa types covered for Australia, and the other country that we cover extensively is also Canada, right? But today we're going to focus on Australia visas first. When we talk about Australia, you always think about, I think it's important that you know how to search. There's of course there's many people in Vietnam, right? Whether it be Ho Chi Minh or Hanoi, saying that will be offering migration service to Australia. But I think it's very important that you know how to search and how to verify and do your research. So I always ask you to, when you think about Australia migration, think about searching for Office of Mara. So you can see kind of the registered migration agents are on the website, always the government website. So you can search here. This is Department of Home Affairs. And here you can type Vietnam. and you search, I mean, you can then see, right, there's only 5 registered migration agents in Vietnam. You know, of course, John, who's the founder of our company, and myself, Willie, right? So, you know, and that's kind of a key reason in our office, you know, in District 1, right, of Ho Chi Minh. And this is a main key reason why we choose to come to Vietnam, you know, and serve the market in Vietnam is, you know, simply because, you know, there are not many registered migration agents and that is actually based, you know, in Vietnam. So when you deal with us, you directly deal with me, you directly deal with John. So, you know, you can rest assured that, you know, like you don't have many layers, you know, of people that you're dealing with. So you can get, you know, real, you know, we can get direct advice for migration. You know, as a registered migration agent, of course, we have to get our license. And then every year also, we have to, you know, we have to complete training every single year to make sure our knowledge and we're updated with the latest information about the policies and visa, you know, types and whatsoever. Okay, because, you know, it changes every year. It really does, actually. It really does. So you know, something that was last year may not be relevant for this year. So it's very important that when you are considering Australian migration, that you have direct, like, you know, you are talking to directly the registered migration agents. Okay. Okay. So that is here. So ourselves, we said, you know, 2 out of 5 in Vietnam. Okay, 2 out of 5 Vietnam in-house Mara agents. We also, you know, all the documentation that we do for you, we do in-house. We do not outsource any work outside, you know, or to other company. We do everything in-house. So I think that's also very important because we use all the 14 years experience of documentation, you know, that we've gathered all through the years on your case. You know, when we go through, and this is where, you know, when we meet clients from Vietnam, and, you know, like, because different occupation code, you know, and for those of you that, you know, actually have looked into or study the skill migration program, right? Of course, you guys know, right? Of course, you guys know, say, for instance, there is the ENSCO website where you search occupation codes, right? You search occupation codes, you know, doesn't matter, right? You just say ICT project manager, you know, different occupation codes have different skill assessment bodies, right? So here is that, you know, so say if I say, you know, or you have something else, you know, that's vet assess, or you have, you know, maybe accountant, you know, that will be another, you know, another you know, CPA, just say, right? So different occupation codes have different skill assessment bodies. And even when you have the experience with certain skill assessment bodies, you know, having experience in a certain occupation code is also super important, right? So, you know, we of course, when we meet you one-on-one, we will go through with you, you know, your occupation code, the assessment body, and then, you know, and then we show you the experience that we have with the skill assessment body that is relevant to you, and hopefully as well that we've done exactly your occupation code, because we've been doing this for 14 years. I mean, hopefully, of course, the most popular occupation codes we've done, right? Like ICT, software engineering, accountants, you know, like nurses, and, you know, many of the popular, you know, occupation codes. Of course, we've covered all that, you know, throughout the 14 years, right? So I can't say we've done every single one, but I'm sure that we've done, you know, most of the popular occupation codes. Okay. So that is, you know, a very brief introduction to our company. You know, we are very, you know, because we have been operating and we are licensed for Australia, you know, we have set up a very good network to support you, right? It's not just the migration of the visa. You know, we can help you, of course, on your settlement, schools for your kids, if you have family, all right, or property, everything like that. We have a well-established network of ourselves and partnerships with people who help you settle in Australia. So that's also very much part of our settlement service, which we'll give to you. Okay. You know, that's very much the high level of our company. I mean, for me, right? For me, you know, I was, you know, I went to Australia, went to Sydney when I was 7 years old. I studied, of course, primary school, secondary school, university in Australia, and then I worked in Australia for, you know, a few years before coming back to Asia and you know, and establish myself in my career in Asia. But nevertheless, I still go back, you know, most years. I'm going back, in fact, in 2 weeks' time to Australia. So we really still keep very close to all the contacts to support your migration as well as your settlement. Okay, so that is our company. This one, I have to say, you know, is something that we pursued. And it's a government body that we pursue. It's like an ISO, right? Because our dedication is very much on customer service to our, you know, to our clients, right? So we actually invite in a government body to come into our firm every year to audit our internal processes, right? To make sure that, you know, we are serving the clients with the utmost highest level of quality, right? And they come in every year, and then they will look through, and then they give us some suggestion, right? And then if we pass their test, they give us a certificate. So every year we choose to, you know, our own choice to voluntarily go and do this every year to make sure that our services are audited, to make sure we are serving our customers the best. Because sometimes, you know, it's always the mindset of continuous every year, try to improve ourselves. Okay. So this is a commitment to our customer is always what we stand for. And very much so now, if we talk about, you know, the migration planning, right? This is where, you know, the quota was released, right? I mean, let me share the website. You know, so you can see the website actually on May 9th. So just pretty much 1 month from 1 month earlier, the Australia government announced the migration planning level. Okay, migration planning level is okay, the new year quota for July 1st to June 30. Okay, so, you know, all I can say here is, you know, the overall quota remains very similar, you know, 195, 190, very much the same, very small change, right? Negligible, right? Not really, right? So it's pretty much the same. But you see here, skill, again here, very much the same. But I think what's matter is out of 195, 140, or out of 190, 137,000. So I don't know, this is where 80%, right? You know, like 70, 80% going to skill. So that means that, you know, still last year and this year, the focus of the Australian government is on skill. I mean, that is very much, you know, the message from the government. The focus is on skill migration. You know, in fact, every country is fighting for skill. You know, every country is fighting for talent, right? So I know in Vietnam, especially, you know, the younger generation, you know, probably people younger than me, you know, the English is good, you know, and they're professional. You study bachelor and you work in big organization, right? Like many worldwide organizations set up in Vietnam, right? So you've gained international experience from working in big companies. It's time to go outside. It's time to go outside and, you know, actually be in a foreign country to gain some different experience, and maybe for your kids to you know, to have a different, you know, a Western education, This is, sometimes clients ask, when is a good time, right? Like, I mean, when it comes to skill migration, it's always now, because, just because they're focusing on skill right now and there's quota, there's ways to go, right? Skill migration is always focused on trying to get as young as possible, the most, like there's a balance, and we can look at the points table later on, right? There's always a balance on being young and being educated and having experience, and that kind of there is a kind of 5-year window where someone gets the maximum mark, right? Because you're still relatively young, around early 30s, you've gained good experience for maybe 7-8 years, right? And then you are, of course, educated, right? Already bachelor, right? So good thing about Australia is they award bachelor the same as master, right? Master degree, right? Because with Canada, they award master degree higher points. So Australia, master and bachelor, same points. So you're not fighting for the highest education level, right? So if you only got bachelor, you should consider Australia, okay? Because you're not going to be as competitive in Canada skill if you don't have master. So here you can see, if you apply offshore, people always ask, when I see someone in Vietnam, they always say, oh, can you help me find job? Can you help me find job? End of the day, like, we can, of course, we can, but the first thing that is needed is the visa. If you have no visa, you cannot find a job. You cannot get a job, right? So, this is 189. This is 491. And the third one is 190 visa. Okay. And we of course, if you research, you would know. If not, we can speak one-on-one, right? If you have these visas are applied from offshore, meaning you apply from Vietnam, you should apply from Vietnam. If you're competitive and you get the visa, and we'll discuss this with you, if you get the visa, you get the visa from offshore. So when you're sitting in Vietnam, you apply, and then they give you the visa in Vietnam. Like it's digital, right? It's all online digital, right? So when we have the visa, then you apply a job. It's as simple as that. Like, it's so easy to apply a job. Like if that's something that you need guidance on and assistance on, we can help for sure. Australia, all the jobs are online. Everything's updated. Just say you say ICT, business analyst, project manager, anyways, it doesn't matter, right? Like just to say, if I go ICT manager, right? Let's just say I say, Sydney. If I search here, there's 700 jobs right now, right? If I want to search, I don't know, like accountant, accountant, like in, let's just say, sorry, accountant in Sydney. Likewise, 7,000 jobs. I mean, accountant is very broad, right? It can be, financial accountant or like assistant accountant. Anyways, like there's many different accountants, right? But you can see here, of course, you can further classify different areas of that, right? But to apply for any one of these jobs, you need a visa, because because they want someone to start work straight away, right? So if you have a visa, you can apply. If you don't have a visa, there's no point applying. They're just going to brush you off, right? And say, oh, thank you, but no, thanks, right? So very much so, if you have the visa, that is the ticket to go in the country, but you can always apply the job before you go to the country. So you secure your job before you go to Australia. Okay, so that is really the pathway. That is really the pathway, and the different allocations of the quota at the moment. You see, like, 70-80% of the quota goes to skill, right? And then very much so, as I start highlight here, skill independent, regional, and state nominated. These are the key visa types to apply from Vietnam offshore. Okay. GTI we will talk about. This is for a bit higher level people who are well established in certain target sectors. So definitely we found these talents in Vietnam, and if you have these talents or you know these talent, do contact Leo and his team, and we can go through and do the assessment. Okay, so that's what I want to cover in terms of migration planning level on the quota that was announced only last month. Okay, so very much so, quota starts at the start of the year, July, and then it ends in June, right? Like it's first come, first serve. So the timing is now.
Okay, let me make a quick recap for
Sure.
the participant in Vietnamese. Okay, yeah. Thì để mình có một cái summary nhanh thì hiện tại thì cái planning của cái quota cho visa Úc nó sẽ đẩy mạnh hơn về phần skill so với cái lượng quota của 188 là nhà đầu tư và kinh doanh. Thì năm nay, năm tài khoá 2023-2024, Úc gần như là đẩy mạnh hơn về mảng skill. Đó là lý do ngày hôm nay thì anh Willy sẽ trình bày với mình về một số cái dạng visa mà mình có thể đi với dạng gọi là dạng lao động, dạng skill, để mình có thể thực hiện được cái mong muốn định cư của mình ở Úc. Okay, it's back to you, Willy.
Sure. Okay. Yep. Okay, wait a second. I'll just share back my screen. Okay. Okay, so with skill migration, I guess a couple of very must have things. IELTS English level, IELTS all band 6, that is must have, right? So if you're IELTS 5, cannot apply. So must have IELTS 6. Must be under 45 years old. That is for pure skill. That's for skill 189, 190, and 491. Must be. So these two, these two here, these 2 points is must, under 45 and English all band 6, right? So that's something to keep in mind. There's many occupations we can go through with you, and sometimes and we work with clients on this as well. Sometimes your occupation can be and it's very normal, right? Very normal, where your job maybe can fit into 1 or 2 or 3 different occupations. So we will work with you to choose the right one, the easiest pathway, and then to help you apply the skill assessments and then the EOI and whatsoever. I mean, that's very much so with skill assessments. So it's a points-based system, of course. It's a points-based system. The process is, we say here, the process is we will ask for your CV or your LinkedIn profile, or certain very simple information, right? We will do your points table. We will have a meeting with you face-to-face or online. It's okay. We'll talk to you about, very clearly whether you're eligible and how is the skill assessment process for your occupation type, right? Because we said every occupation follows a skill assessment body. It's different, okay? It's different. And we do, so once we, discuss with you, and I will discuss with you directly, you have access to me directly, 1 meeting, 2 meetings, as many meetings as you want, as many meetings as you want, okay? So anyways, you deal with, of course, Leo's team in Vietnam. And I, of course, I come to Vietnam quite often, otherwise I'll be on Zoom, right? I just left Vietnam last week, right? So, we do a very, very detailed assessment of your case before we start, right? We show you our experience. We show you how we conduct a case, right? So I think that will be a key differentiation between when you see us, in the meeting, I think you very clearly see the differentiation between us and another firm in Vietnam. It will be very clear. All right. Once you choose to start with us, we will start the skill assessment process. You know, whether you have your IELTS or you haven't got your IELTS, some skill assessment bodies require IELTS to start first. Some you do not need IELTS, you can do in parallel. Anyways, we'll discuss with you. So once it's ready, once these two are ready, then we put in your profile into the expression of interest, which is the talent pool, right? So we put you in, whether you're in 189, 190, 491, we put you in as many as possible, to be honest, because, you know, there's no cost, you know, so why not put yourself and increase your chance as much as you can. Whilst you are in the EOI, you can always continue to work on improving your points. Go in first, or we always say go in first, and then keep working on your points to improve. And then we need, you know, what we need is the state nomination. If it's 190491, invitation, or if it's 189, we need the direct 189 invitation. So anyways, we need the invitation where they're selecting you because you are competitive in the pool to apply for the visa. You know, to be honest, once you are selected, these steps here is very administrative, and you're supposed, you know, for us, you can expect 99% you'll get the visa if you are invited to apply. So the key one is getting the invitation. That is the key. So that's the process. Of course, we can discuss with you one-on-one, but, you know, different points tests, you know, and the points tests have different elements. Of course, we talk about your age. The best age to be is, you know, here under 33, of course, and over 25. Your English level, if you are all band 6, you get 0 points, but at least you pass. If you're all band 7, it's 10. If you're all band 8, it's 20. Okay, so of course English plays a big part as well, but, you know, it really depends as well. You know, actually, I forgot to mention this. Really depends on your occupation. You know, I have to say, and, you know, and it's a fact, IT occupation is very competitive. Okay, it is competitive. It's the fact, because there are many competitive IT professionals from India, from Philippines, you know, but then other occupations, you know, there's so many other occupations which is less competitive. So if you're non-IT and you want to explore as well, we're happy to explore with you, because maybe you have a good chance that you don't even know yourself. Okay. And then it comes to your work experience from overseas, which means in Vietnam or any other country. Okay. That your work experience comes into play, and then we will work with you on what you need to support the work experience. Qualifications, you know, your as you can see here, bachelor and master or just gets 15 points. It's only PhD get 20. So as you can imagine, not many PhD. So most people just get 15. So you'd be competitive there. Okay. If you study in Australia, I know in Vietnam, you know, RMIT, you know, is a very popular university there. But if you actually really study in Australia, the campus Australia, then you get 5 extra points. Okay. Other factors, well, this really comes into play, is whether you're married or you're single. This is a huge element. You know, 10 points, sometimes 10 points is really between, when it comes to 10 points, 10 points is, it could be the factor between you getting the invitation or no invitation. If you're single and applying as a single, you get 10 points. That's very good. If you're married, and if your partner, your spouse, can get all band 6 English, you get 5 points. If your partner can also find an occupation code, and your partner can pass a skill assessment, doesn't matter how many years, just pass, you get 10 points. So if you think about the way the logic here that Australia is taking, is saying that if one person is coming because you're single, you get 10 points. If 2 person coming unless the partner is also English is okay and also skill assessment, you know, then you are equal to the single because 2 person will contribute. If your partner cannot pass English and not professional, you know, and no occupation code, then you get 0 points. So less competitive than the single person, you know. So that is the logic here, and it's really key here as well. Something that we can analyze with you in very low detail. Okay. Also, one element that we encourage people to do is the CCL. It's a very community translation test. It's only oral, so only verbal, like verbal translate Vietnamese to English and verbal translate English to Vietnamese. We say that if you know, if you're English R6 and higher, and of course you're native speaker in Vietnamese, you should be able to get this 5 point. You should be, and you should try, because it's an online test. You should try. Okay. So that is the points test. I don't know here. Shall I stop for a little bit, Leo, or shall I continue?
You can keep continue. It's okay.
Okay, sure. Okay, so very much so we talk about we talk about already you know, the process here about the assessment process, the visa application process, the different steps. Then we talk about the visa, you know, in an order, right? I mean, of course, everyone wants 189. 189 is direct PR. You can live in any state in Australia, okay? You know, you don't have to live in Sydney and Melbourne, right? Of course, everyone knows Sydney, Melbourne, and New South Wales, Victoria. You don't have to, because end of the day now, right? Because you know, the living standard or the living cost in Sydney and Melbourne is very, very high, okay? So anyways, but 189 is the highest status visa, live anywhere. However, 190, this one still is a PR. So it's definitely still a PR visa, still, you know, permanent resident straight away. But then because the one particular state has to nominate you, then you are committed to live in that state for 2 years at the beginning, at least 2 years. Okay, so you can work, you can not work, up to you, but you have to live in that state for 2 years. And then the third visa is 491. The 491 visa is a temporary visa, which they give you for 5 years. 5-year visa, you have to work 3 years in first before you can apply for PR. And this one, the 491, you cannot live in the city. You have to live in, or you cannot live in the capital city. I can't say you cannot live in the city. You cannot live in the capital city. You just have to live in a little bit regional or outside the capital city, because they need talent in the outside of capital city as well. So this one, you have to live in the regional area or regional city of that state. And you have to work for 3 years in the designated area. Okay. So these are the 3 visas. You know, and very much so, these are the 3 visas for skill. And you know, and I think the process really is engage with us, you know, talk with our sales representative, Leo and Leo's team, and then we will organize a direct meeting. So that's skill. And you know, maybe you could say a few words, Leo, before I go to GTI. Yeah.
Để nói ngắn gọn về 3 chương trình là 3 cái subclass 189, 190 và 491, thì tất cả các cái loại visa này đều có cái đường để lên thành thường trú nhân hết, và mỗi loại visa nó sẽ có những cái yêu cầu nó khác nhau. Thì để được tư vấn kỹ hơn thì anh chị có thể vui lòng liên hệ với bạn sale đang hỗ trợ mình để các bạn có thể cung cấp thêm thông tin cho mình. Và nếu trong trường hợp các anh chị cần thì Willy và em là Leo thì sẽ có thể hỗ trợ các anh chị được trong cái quá trình mình chuẩn bị hồ sơ để tiến hành làm hồ sơ với bên John Hu bên em. hoặc là anh chị có thể gọi em là Tâm. Vâng. Ok, Willie, it's back to you.
Okay, the GTI visa, global talents. Okay, this I believe in Vietnam is not many people do, and you know what? Sometimes not many people believe, or you know whatever, right? But I say, you know, once we go through the requirements, if you meet the requirement or you have friends that know the requirement, please, please contact us for a conversation. I must say, because to be honest, we do many of these cases. You know, I'm saying, you know, in the last 12 months, we would have done 150 of these, and I can show you the evidence that we've done 150 of these cases in the last 12 months. Okay, for people all over Asia. Okay, people in Vietnam sometimes don't believe, but you know, I'm happy to show the evidence if you need me to show the evidence. Okay, it is this, you know, of course, every country, including Australia, wants the brightest, the best, you know, whatsoever, right? For innovation. There is, I'm sure there is, and we have GTI clients in Vietnam, you know, not many, no, not enough, okay, but we do have some, okay, and we have success case as well, okay. So they want someone who can, okay, so 189190491 is to go to Australia and be the workforce people, be the people who just take a job, you know, be the workforce. Here, the target is actually for higher, you know, for like senior management, you know, middle management, senior management, business owners who can really elevate and lift the industry, right? So it's for high people, okay? Definitely for high people. You can see here, the target sector, there's actually 10. There's actually quite a lot, okay? Resources, agri-food, agri-tech, you know, health industries. You know, of course, many people do digitech, you know, IT style, financial services, education. Within each target sector, you can actually open up and you can see people that they look for. You know, of course, they're not looking for just ordinary people who do skill migration. You can see here for digitech, they want people who deal with, yeah, like real high technology people, like data science, AI. You know, we talk about big data, you know, cloud, 5G, cybersecurity, you know, things that are very popular, or, you know, very kind of, you know, things that are really critical at the moment. You know, people who do not, they even say, you know, normal ICT people or normal business analysts or developers does not fit this program. Because, you know, if you are, these people should go to 1891990, right? It does not fit GTI. GTI, they want someone more innovative, more high technology. Okay, so that is the target for GTI. You know, and it's not IT, just not just IT. If you look at every single different, you know, industry or sector, you can see the different, like, you know, financial services. They want people who are fintech, you know, cloud technologies, digital wallets, crypto, right? Like things like that is very, very good, right? There's lots of crypto people in Vietnam. Can try this, definitely can try this. Okay. Yeah, it says very clearly, it says cryptocurrencies, right? So it says that. So very much so, if you meet these 10 target sector and you have a look and you see who are the specializations, if you have these specialization skills, do come and talk to us. Okay. They want someone who is not just a graduate or just junior. They want someone who, you know, can demand $162,000 salary in Australia. I mean, $162,000 in Australia is not a huge salary. It's someone that is well experienced. That's it. Someone is well experienced. So something that we can talk to you about. Okay. And another factor that we need for this submission is you need a nominator. Okay. So, I mean, that's something that we can discuss. If you have or you do not have, ideally you have. If you do not have, we can discuss. Is we need a Australia PR or Australia citizen who's also in your field, okay, to then nominate you, okay, or write you a reference letter, something like that, right? This is the Form 1000. So that's also a requirement of the GTI visa, okay? So, I mean, that in detail, I mean, that's very high level overview, but that is the GTI visa, which is very different. It's different to the skill migration, but it's a very genuine pathway. And there is, you can see here, quota of 5,000 for GTI. So something that, you know, I know the Vietnamese market don't focus on, but this is a very valid visa class that can be done. And we have done many of these, many of these, okay? So that is the GTI direct PR visa, a very good pathway, okay? So we can discuss that one-on-one. I mean, the last one that we can talk about is vocation, right? Like, you know, for Australia, you know, in the planning that came out, there's a lot of emphasis on sectors that really need people. A sector that really need people is aged care. Aged care is really need people. So we have, you know, as migration agents, but, you know, because we are well connected with many college, you know, and vocational centers in Australia that can help you, you know, find a suitable course to study. I think for us, we want to focus on cookery, like being a very high level trained chef, or aged care worker. We want to focus on this and not just general, you know, bachelor degree, right? Because we want to focus on this because it has a very clear pathway to PR and getting a job. Okay, so we want to focus on this because, of course, we're a migration firm. We want to focus on vocational study that has a clear PR pathway. You can, if you are, you know, I say ideal here, of course, we can case by case, we can study with you. Ideal case is under 30 years old. You know, you under 30 years old, you want to go and study and go to Australia, right? So we can get your CV. You don't have to have the relevant experience. We will, you know, we will speak to the college to see which college or which course suitable for you. When you study here with subclass 500, I want to emphasize, yes, it's a course that you need to study for 2 years. Roughly, the budget is around 30,000 AUD, okay, to study 2 years, 25 to 30,000 to study 2 years. But I must say to you, whilst you're in Australia, when you're studying, you can work here 48 hours for a fortnight. So that means every week that you are studying. So if I'm studying at the moment, I'm on this visa, subclass 500. So I'm studying, but then, you know, it's not like you have a lot of free time when you study, right? You can work 24 hours a week. And these colleges usually, and they do offer you. So say, for instance, if you are in a cookery school, they will have connection with hotel, they'll have connection with restaurant in where you live, where you study, and they will link you to the employer to work, you know, whilst you're studying 24 hours 1 week, right? And then likewise for aged care, same, right? And then when your semester break, you know, there's you know, semester break, you can work full time during semester break. Normally for these vocation study as well, you have practical experience where half year in the 2 years, you actually work full time. We have calculated this. So yes, it costs you 25 to 30,000 for 2-year course. You know, the fee, the study fee, right? The course fee, 25,000, just say. But during those 2 years, when you're in Australia, you can actually earn 50,000. We've calculated the hourly fee, hourly wage during the weeks, and then the semester break where you work full time, you can actually earn close to 50,000. So, you know, and after you study the 500 and you have practical experience during those 2 years of study, you go on the graduate visa. and then you go on the 42 visa, and then you go on the PR. It's actually very clear, right? The pathway, and as long as you gain good experience during the first 2 years, because you'll be working part-time and you get to know the employer, you actually have a very clear PR pathway. So these are the two. Of course, there are many other occupations that we can do, but I show cookery and I show aged care because they are in need of people, right? But if you want other occupation, we can also explore with you, okay? So I want to stop there for now, and then I can take any questions.
Okay. Let me recap. Chúng ta có thêm hai cái sự lựa chọn khác ngoài những cái dạng visa lao động, visa việc làm 189, 190, 491 ở phía trên, thì chúng ta sẽ có thêm hai cái dạng nữa là visa GTI và dạng là visa gọi là du học nghề đó. Thì đối với dạng visa GTI thì nó sẽ dành cho các anh chị mà hiện tại đang làm việc ở những cái level cao hơn so với dạng visa việc làm kể trên. Và đối với dạng GTI này thì nó cần thêm một công ty từ phía một tổ chức ở bên Úc, và cái điều này thì công ty Chonhu hoàn toàn có thể hỗ trợ các anh chị được. Và đặc biệt là đối với visa GTI này thì thời gian xét duyệt visa hiện tại nó chỉ có tầm khoảng 12 tháng mà thôi. Và sau khi mình nhận được visa là mình sẽ có thể sang Úc để mình làm việc và sinh sống rồi ạ. Còn đối với dạng visa cuối cùng là cái dạng visa đi theo diện học nghề đó, thì nó là cái dạng visa du học, nhưng mà chúng ta sẽ có cái thời gian để làm việc hàng tuần và rơi vào khoảng 24 tiếng trong một tuần để mình làm, và sau đó có những cái khoảng thời gian chúng ta sẽ có thể làm việc full time được. Và đây là một trong những cái điều kiện để mình có thể chuyển sang những cái dạng visa khác để mình xin lên được thường chủ nhân. Thì nếu mà anh chị có câu hỏi nào thì mình có thể để lại trong phần chat để anh Willie đây có thể trả lời ngay luôn cho mình. Dạ vâng ạ. Thì mình sẽ để 5 phút để các anh chị có câu hỏi thì mình sẽ nhập vào phòng chat nha. Okay, we will wait for like 5 minutes, so if they have any question they can type in the chat.
Okay, sure.
Okay, we have one question here. So with 5 years experience in marketing with IELTS of 7.5, is there any chance for like migration with this visa?
Yes, most definitely. You can see the NSCO code. Let me share my screen. You can see the NSCO code, marketing specialist. We have done this before. We have done this occupation code before for quite a few clients. And when we meet with you one-on-one, we can show you what we did for the other client with marketing specialists. So yes, most definitely. You can see here, Vet Assess is the assessment body for marketing specialists. So, please, send your CV to Leo and Leo's team, and we will organize to have the points test sent back to you, and then we can have a meeting to discuss your case in lower detail. You can see here, 190 and 491 can be applied. Okay. Yes, marketing specialist. All bands 7.5 is good. You get 10 points.
Yeah. Okay. So there's another question here. So what is the waiting time for the skill visa?
Okay, the skill visa, let's have a look, right? So always here, let's just say 190, right? The processing time is not long, right? The processing time you see here, you say here, 75%, you can see my screen, right? 75% is processed in 6 months, right? However, the key is that invitation to apply the visa. This says this waiting time is after you apply for the visa. Okay, after you actually apply for the visa, you have to get the invitation to apply, because they choose you from the expression of interest pool. Okay, so that is the key process or the key milestone, not the actual visa. So okay, I mean, we can discuss with you, but of course, if you know, if you're under 45, you are all band 6, and you NSCO code is the site, right? NSCO search. You can find your occupation, and then we can discuss with you. But that in itself is minimum, the bare minimum.
Okay, we have another one here. So I'm the business owner and I don't pay for the insurance, social insurance. So does it count to the working time?
Yeah, it's a bit harder to be honest. But like come to us with your profile. We'll work with you to see, right? We'll work to see if there's any other visa or any pathway that's suitable for you. Okay, come to us if Australia is something that you're targeting. We do want to see, okay, your profile.
Okay, so with the GTI program, do we need an IELTS score?
No, you don't. Okay, there is that's actually a very good question. I'm sorry. Yeah, I should have covered that. With GTI, you need functional English, but for functional English, you can either pay money or you can take the IELTS. So you do not need, you can choose to pay money. Okay, so you do not need to take the exam.
Okay. So another question. If we have master degree certificate provided by Vietnam University, can we use this certificate to exchange the same level rating of
Australian I mean, you call the AQF, right? Yeah. I mean, we'll do that for you, all right? We'll do that with you. Yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah, I mean, like whether it be bachelor, whether it be master, like we do that with you. This equivalent level, you're correct. It has to be the equivalent level. Yeah, correct.
Okay. Okay, so
that was really good. I mean, if we get more questions, please send them, please type out. But I do highly encourage all of you, like just to reach out to us, right? Reach out to us, reach out to Leo and his team, and then we can discuss. Like our assessment is free, right? Our assessment is free, but we want to have the conversations, with all of you about your profile. To see if there's pathway for you, right? As we said, there's the best timing for skill migration is now, right? Because your age is a factor, and also quota is a factor.
Okay. Okay, so I think that's all the question they have for now.
Okay.
Okay, so
that's good. Yeah. So we have a second seminar on Australia later this month, right? Yeah, we have another seminar in Australia this month. Of course, people who are listening now, I'll just get the dates. Wait a sec. The date of the seminar later this month was it 22nd? 22nd. You're correct. 22nd, right? So, yeah. So we have the seminar then, which I encourage all of you to inform your friends, who are interested, and we can spread the word. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you Willie.
Thank you.
Vâng, thì ngày 22 sắp tới thì John Hu sẽ có một cái webinar khác và sẽ xoáy sâu hơn về cái phần du học nghề. Thì nếu trong trường hợp anh chị hoặc là anh chị có bạn bè hoặc người thân người quen của mình có cái muốn tìm hiểu về cái chương trình du học nghề thì mình có thể liên hệ với các bạn sale để các bạn có thể chia sẻ với mình về cái buổi webinar ngày 22 tháng 6 sắp tới. Ok, và bây giờ thì cảm ơn các anh chị đã dành thời gian tham dự buổi hội thảo ngày hôm nay của John Hu ạ. Okay.
Okay, thank you very
So
much.
yeah,
All
thank
right,
you,
bye
Willie.
bye.
Bye bye.